Hey there, fantasy football fanatics. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Focus with the Three Frosted Mugs, a Fiat Entertainment Group production. I'm Rodney, and here with me is Chad.
Steven.
Hello, Chad. And we are missing one mug today, so you only get two of us, but I promise the show won't lack a single thing. If you're watching this show, then you probably need help with your fantasy teams, and you have come to the right place. But before we get started, let's congratulate the winner of this week's Pick 3 Plus, Chip Kelly Fan Club.
Attaboy, Jim.
Way to go, Jim. Jim, you'll be receiving your very own Three Frosted Mugs mug. Thank you for playing, and congratulations. And please don't forget to visit www.threefrostedmugs.com to enter your picks for the Pick 3 Plus. For your chance to win a weekly prize and to compete for the grand prize at the end of the season.
Yeah, so right now there's there's 3 weeks, so there's been 3 people that's already, in for the finale to win the tablet.
Mm-hmm. And again, I would like to say last week I was the top scoring mug, but of course I don't get to win anything since I work here. I win nothing. Okay, let's get right into it. Man, it was quite a week. I never thought I'd say this, but I sat the number one pick from my draft that I had chosen in the first round on the bench this past week, and it turned out okay.
Eddie Lacy?
Eddie Lacy. I sat him down. He's not performing up to par.
Now, who'd you put in there? Who'd you put in for? You put a Bradshaw in for him, right?
Well, he was my flex. So originally I had Eddie Lacy as my running back 1, Le'Veon Bell as my flex, and then I switched them. So I put Le'Veon running back 1 and then put Ahmad in my flex. So whatever that means. Yeah. I'm just analytical. I like to separate them out like that.
But as long as they're in there.
Yeah. So I'm kind of debating the same thing, but we can get into all that in a little bit. Okay. Let's talk about the top performers from the past week. Let's see here. As far as quarterbacks, for top performances, we have Andrew Luck.
Went crazy against the Jaguars, so that's kind of a no-brainer.
I threw him into a couple one-week competitive fantasy leagues. One of those ones that just go for a week long, and then you start over.
I'm sure you did pretty well having him in there. At least in the quarterback position.
Another quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had a really good game. I mean, it was like over 400 yards, right?
Yeah, Cousins and Foles was another top performer. That game right there was probably one of the most exciting games we've seen all year. And if you had either one of those quarterbacks in your fantasy lineup, then you probably did okay, at least from the quarterback position.
Cousins was looking solid. Foles took some nasty hits in that game and still got up.
The kid's tough. I got him in one of my leagues. I just hope he's not too banged up to start this week against, I think they play the Niners.
Yeah, I think he's got it in him though. I think it's not a short week for them. It is for Kirk. It is a short week for Kirk, so we'll see how that affects his play.
Yep.
All right, some top running backs from the past week: Marshawn Lynch, surprise, yeah. Rashad Jennings. I knew this kid was going to be a big plus for the Giants because they don't have many.
I think he rushed 30 plus times. So they tried to feed him the ball, tried to take a little heat off Eli. I hate to say it, Eli looked pretty decent. I think that's what they're going to have to do is run the ball a lot in order to take a little pressure off Eli.
Another running back on the list, DeMarco Murray.
I mean, this guy's been on the list, I think, every week so far. So
again, probably the best thing about the Cowboys' offense, other than their line.
He's tough.
Let's see, wide receivers. This guy, I was playing against this guy. Oh, man, it made Thursday night really unbearable. Julio Jones, hell of a game Thursday.
Yep.
I think in my league, he ended up scoring like 40-some points.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah, that was after some adjustments. Yes, and another wide receiver, Pierre Garçon.
Yep, Pierre's. Like I said, with Cousins in there, you're going to start to see how that offense is going to run, where the ball is going to gravitate to. He likes Niles Paul. D-Jax had a big catch. So you're seeing a lot of things come out of Washington now, and now you're going to see exactly. I mean, with 450 or 420-some passing yards, there's going to be a lot of people that have a good game on your team. So
you can spread that ball around. Yep. We got a little tie here for our third pick for top performers between Jeremy Maclin and Antonio Brown.
Yeah, both had a good performance. One I like better than the other this week. One I may have in my top performers. We'll see.
Well, we're coming up on that. Let's see, tight end top performers: Martellus Bennett, Greg Olsen, and Colby Fleener.
Yeah, Fleener had a big game, and not far behind him, I think, was Dwayne Allen.
Yeah,
both tight ends there. Of course, again with Andrew Luck having the game he had, there's going to be more than one good fantasy player on that team. But 2 tight ends had good games for them.
Yeah, Dwayne Allen made me regret a little bit having Charles Clay start instead of him. He's sitting on my bench right now, but he's been so inconsistent.
Allen, what did he put up, a goose egg last week? Or?
Yeah.
The week before last,
that's the one thing I'll say about Charles Clay. He's consistently giving me like 3 to 4 points every week.
That's what you want, consistency out of the tight end.
That's all I want. All right, some disappointing starting performances from the previous week. Quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford, from a fantasy standpoint, they still got the win. But, this is about fantasy, and he did not have a good fantasy stats.
Mm-hmm. And then another one, big surprise. I really thought he was going to have a better season starting off. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Green Bay, but they are not playing well right now, and a lot of it has to do with Aaron Rodgers.
He threw for under 200 yards, I believe, in that game.
Yeah, they don't look good right now.
No, they're not. It's really making me nervous. Tom Brady pulling up the rear as a disappointing starting performance.
Mm-hmm.
That's been kind of almost the whole season in a way. I feel like he has just fallen from that fantasy elite group.
And they were playing Oakland. I mean, they got the win, but, they were playing a bad Oakland team, so he should have put up better numbers from a fantasy standpoint. We'll see moving forward.
Okay, let's see. Running backs. Just mentioned this guy, Eddie Lacy. Disappointing performance again. He's been on this list 2 weeks now, I believe.
Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy. Disappointing. He took a heck of a hit to the side of the head. Don't know how that wasn't called as a penalty, but yeah.
The Redskins bottled him up. He looked terrible.
They did. They know how to stop that run if they know how to do anything.
They look tough.
Frank Gore. Another disappointing running back.
Like 6 carries, I think 1 carry in the second half. You'll see later on in this show, I may or may not like him as one of my top performers. But, yeah, I think they're going to feed him the ball a lot more this week. They're going to get back to what the 49ers do. They run the ball.
Where does Carlos Hyde fit in all that, you think?
He should be fitting in a lot because that team is built to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So when you got a guy like Frank Gore and then a good backup like Carlos Hyde, run the ball.
Gotcha. Let's see. Wide receivers, disappointing performances. Reggie Wayne, Demaryius Thomas, and Andre Johnson.
Yeah, Demaryius Thomas, I have him on my team. He's had from his standpoint, a terrible, year this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to turn around soon. There's a lot of weapons there, but he's a big part of that team. They did have that big 2-point conversion catch under probably 10 seconds to go in the game, 20 seconds to go in the game, which was huge. But leading up to that, he really hadn't done much. Is he
just not getting the attention, or is it that he's getting he's getting the passes thrown to him, but he's not pulling them in? Is that what it is?
I guess. I think he had 9 targets, but he only had 4 catches for 30-some yards, maybe 40 yards. Not what you want out of Demaryius Thomas in that.
Now,
offense.
granted, they were playing Seattle, which, that
has a little say. Even the games prior to that, he still hasn't really been much. I look for that to change.
Okay. Disappointing tight ends. Zach Ertz and Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, Zach Ertz, terrible game. Kyle Rudolph, he got hurt. We'll give him a little leeway there, but those 2 guys, if you had them on your team, disappointing.
All right, well, let's get into the upcoming week. We've got some top picks and some sleepers for you. Today it's going to be Chad's top picks and sleepers, so if you lose, you can put it all on him, since Conway's not here to take any of the blame from his picks and sleepers.
I will still blame it on Conway.
I will give him some credit, though. I believe he had Colby Fleener as a sleeper last week, and he was one of our top performers this past week from the actual game, so give him some credit there.
I give him no credit. Just all the blame, no credit. Sorry, Conway.
It's like my financial situation. No credit at all.
No,
that's not true. All right. Let's go in the top picks for the coming week. Chad, give me your top QBs.
All right. I like Kirk Cousins. He had a huge game against Philly. They had the ball a lot. It was going to be a high-scoring game. But they're playing the Giants. The Giants' D is a little suspect. Their offense is moving it a little better, so I see that game to have a lot of points, and I see Captain Kirk still doing his thing. I like him a lot this week. Like Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers have the Bucs coming into town. They're playing at home. The Bucs just had 56 points scored against them, with Atlanta. I like Ben Roethlisberger to have a huge game. I think I've had this guy. I don't know if I've had him on my top performers list every week, but I think this week he's going to have a big week, Tony Romo.
Okay.
Because obviously I think Drew Brees is going to have the biggest week of all, but we're not going to put him on there because he's an every week starter.
Right.
But I think that game is going to have a lot of points, and I think Tony Romo is going to have to do a lot through the air in order to keep up with the Saints.
Okay. What about your sleepers?
Sleepers, I got Teddy Bridgewater. They've got Atlanta coming into town. I think Atlanta's going to put up a lot of points. Again, Bridgewater's going to have to do his thing through the air. So I think they're going to have to score some points to keep up with Atlanta. And I like Joe Flacco. I think him and Steve Smith are going to hook up a lot. You got the Panthers coming into town. They're at home. It's against Steve Smith's former team. I like them to do some things against the Panthers. Definitely like them covering.
He's been waiting for week 4. Waiting for it.
Yes, he has. So like him to have a big week.
Nice. All right, let's go into running backs. Top running backs. I think number 1 is great because we were just talking about him.
Eddie Lacy. I mean, I think the Packers, like I was saying, their offense just looks terrible right now. They're not doing very good things. I think they're going to get back. They're going to run the ball, take a little heat off Rodgers, and then hopefully kind of get him back into a groove because they need him moving forward, especially if they want to make a little push for the division and the playoffs. Matt Forte, again, that game, I like to see a lot of running going on. Maybe an under game, but I do like to see some fantasy points coming out because I do think they will pull up a little bit of points. But I think both teams are going to emphasize the run there. And I like Frank Gore. He was on our disappointments last week. They got the Eagles aren't that great against the run, but I think the Niners are going to get back to what they know, and that's running the ball.
All right. Okay, so you think some bounce back weeks for those two, exactly. For Eddie and for Frank.
Yep.
Eddie and Frank sounds like the best group of guys to have around. All right, what are
Forte? I mean, those 3 guys that I just named, both of them had a pretty bad week.
Yeah.
Because Forte didn't have the best of weeks, I don't think.
Yeah, I wish he had a worse week. He literally is what put my opponent over the top by 5 points.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Not good.
What are your sleepers?
My sleepers, I got Donald Brown. He's going to be carrying the bulk of the load in San Diego. They're playing the Chargers. Don't need to say anything else. And Darren McFadden, he's going to get the bulk of the carries. Miami's got a pretty good defense, but I do think Darren McFadden, I think they're going to try to utilize him in the passing game. Mm-hmm. They need to. I mean, he's a little fragile, but so far this year he's healthy. I think they need to get him the ball, whether it's on the ground, through the air. And I look for this week to, for him to have a good week.
Just one clarification, because Donald Brown is on the Chargers, right? So he's playing Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had said Chargers, but it's no big deal. Just for people at home who don't know. We know, but you might not. So just to clarify, Donald Brown from the Chargers playing Jacksonville this week, which are doo-doo. Okay.
They are the doo-doo team.
They are very big doo-doo. Wide receivers, top wide receivers, Chad.
Top wide receivers, Antonio Brown. Again, Steelers, they got the Buccaneers coming into town. It's going to be a lot of Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown. I don't need to say any more. Alshon Jeffrey. And again, I think they're going to work Forte a lot in that Bears offense. But I think Jeffrey and Marshall are a little banged up. I think Jeffrey's a little less banged up than Marshall. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to get a lot of the bulk through the air. So like Alshon Jeffrey and Julian Edelman. Monday night game, Tom Brady, not that great of a performance. Last week, I look for him to get Edelman the ball a lot. I look for Edelman to have 8+ catches.
Nice. Okay. All right. What about your sleepers?
Sleepers? I guess this guy's not really a sleeper. Steve Smith. I look for him to do a lot of work.
He was a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I look for him to do a lot of work through the air against Carolina, his former team. And Greg Jennings. Teddy Bridgewater's coming in. I think he's going to find a guy. I'm hoping that guy's Cordarrelle Patterson because I've got Cordarrelle Patterson in both of my leagues I'm in.
Right.
But that being said, I think it's going to be Greg Jennings this week.
Just the veteran.
Yes, I think again it may be both. I'm not discounting Cordarrelle Patterson, especially if you're getting return yardages in your league. But I think they're going to have to score a lot of points to keep up with Atlanta.
Okay. All right, let's move into tight ends. Give me your top tight ends for this coming week.
Greg Olsen, he's going to be on this list a lot. There's really, besides Kelvin Benjamin, Greg Olsen is the only other viable option through the air for Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. Niles Paul, again, Kirk Cousins, I think he's going to spread the ball around a lot. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to pass a lot. There'll be a lot of points scored in that game. I think Niles Paul is going to reap the benefit of that. And Coby Fleener. Like for Coby Fleener to have another good week.
Okay. All right. What about sleepers?
Sleepers, Travis Kelce. Look for him to have a good week for the Chiefs. Monday night game, again, Alex Smith. I think they're going to spread the ball around a little bit. I'm not sure what their running back situation is, if Jamal Charles is coming back, if he's still injured. He's had a solid week. I think, the PPR league, I think he's had around 12 or 13 points each week, which is not too bad out of your tight end position. I look for him to have a really good week this week. and Jason Morrow for the Jets. They're playing at home against the Lions. I think Geno Smith, he's not fighting for his job because they've already said he's the starter, but I think he needs to spread the ball around a little bit, and I think, he's got to find his little security blanket, and going to be in his tight end, Jason Morrow.
Okay. All right, let's move into defense. Give me your one top and your one sleeper.
All right, well, I guess I didn't do a good job on my sleeper because these are both probably top defenses, but Pittsburgh's playing at home against the Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. Buccaneers are terrible.
Even with Mike Glennon, you think they're going to...
I don't think they're ready for the Steelers.
Yeah. I mean, you don't think Glennon really adds much difference?
I just think they're not a good football team right now. Mm-hmm. Josh McCown, yeah, I mean, Glennon's probably more. Well, I guess it's a new system with Lovie Smith being there. So no, yeah. Glennon had something. You're going into Pittsburgh. No, with James Harrison back.
Yeah,
when he walks in that room, all those defensive players are like, all right, it's time to go to work even more than what we have been.
Oh, so, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Steelers big as a defense, and the Chargers playing at home against the Jacksonville.
Now, what about Bortles? You nervous about Bortles at all with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's always that factor is what he's going to do when he comes in there. But the Chargers playing at home, Chargers are a lot better football team. I like that defense to do something good. They're going to have some picks.
Okay.
Bortles is going to throw picks. He's not going to have a flawless game.
Okay, all right. I never question your judgment. I just
well, you should, because my judgment's not always right. So you should question it often.
All right. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it for Fantasy Focus for today. We've gotten our top picks, our sleepers. So go ahead and take that advice and use it to your benefit.
And if it does you good, thank you. You can thank me. And if it does bad, then it's all Conway's fault.
Yes, it's all Conway's fault. All right, and if you have questions about who to start or sit that we didn't talk about on your fantasy team, then please feel free to post them on our Facebook page or tweet us at 3 Frosted Mugs. And that's frosted without the vowels, FRSTD. The Mugs will be happy to answer your questions. And don't forget to play the Pick 3 Plus. You can go to 3frostedmugs.com to enter in your Pick 3 to compete for weekly prizes and a grand prize at the end of the season. Thank you, and tune in next time for Fantasy Focus with the 3 Frosted Mugs. Thanks to AJ Studios for the post-production and graphics work. And until next time, trust your gut and never tinker.